Hi, my name's Liz Morse-McNabb and I am the Research Leader Feed-Based Systems at Agriculture Victoria. Pasture is the cheapest source of feed, but managing it on the farm every day is time-consuming and difficult and therefore a real challenge to do well. Our research project aims to develop simple, day-to-day management options that lead to more pasture grazed and conserved more effectively. We call this project Pasture Smarts. Pasture Smarts aims to enable a profitable increase in pasture growth and utilisation at the farm scale, and by forecasting pasture growth, enable better long-term pasture management decisions to be implemented. The Pasture Smarts project looks at developing new technologies and measuring pasture dry matter and nutritive characteristics rapidly, accurately and consistently across the whole farm. We've calibrated a range of sensors from ground-based sensors, unmanned aerial vehicles, satellite sensors for the measurement of both dry matter and nutritive characteristics in perennial ryegrass. We've also used plant growth models and long-term forecast data to model past, current and future perennial ryegrass growth and dry matter. In Australia, the profitability of pasture-based systems is intimately linked to the amount of pasture converted into animal products. Research from 2013 established that there's a linear increase in operating profit of $250 per hectare of each additional tonne of dry matter consumed per hectare. So across the Ellenbake Smart Farm, which is 180 hectares, just one extra tonne consumed per hectare would equate to $45,000. What the project aims to deliver is an integrated suite of tools and techniques to provide farmers with information for accurate allocation of perennial ryegrass under on-farm grazing conditions and don't require an increased time commitment of the farmer to make well-informed pasture management choices, and an easy-to-use package to predict future pasture accumulation rates. All the work was done on perennial ryegrass pastures under on-farm grazing conditions, no plots, at the Ellenbake Smart Farm and 6 primary partner farms across Victoria and South Australia. All calibration and models developed worked across all farms and all seasons. We've also developed a pasture growth model that's based on the biophysical characteristics of the perennial ryegrass plant and the landscape. This model has also been calibrated across all farms for all seasons and can provide a 50-year history of paddock, the current growth and the future growth daily. The outputs from the pasture growth model have been fed into a prototype web application for farmer testing. The app's based on a whole farm view of all the paddocks, and the farmer can add management activities such as grazing and forage conservation, applications, pasture renovation and irrigation events. We've automated the creation of paddock-based estimates of perennial ryegrass dry matter from the model, and these are loaded into the farmer prototype each day, shown in a different coloured scale to represent pasture availability for each paddock, and also in a feed wedge to quickly find the next paddocks to consider for grazing. This prototype is now under development and commercialisation, and a beta app will be tested by a group of farmers over the next 6 months. There are a number of outcomes from this study that dairy farmers can now start to think about for their pastures, such as: what is your current pasture management approach and challenges, and what do you need to take the next steps to use a pasture management tool or system like Pasture Smarts? Where and when are the pinch points in your seasonal or annual system, and what technology or information would make a difference to you and your farm profitability? And consider getting involved with Pasture Smarts app development to have an input and help build this management support tool in a way that works for your farm businesses too. The next stage is applying principles of Pasture Smarts perennial ryegrass outcomes to alternative species across a range of regions, develop data integration techniques to enable farmers to use a range of sensors that work in their system. We've set up an experiment with 3 forage species that have very different growth structures, and we're going to use this as an indicator of the effort required to recalibrate our perennial ryegrass models for other forages and mixed species pastures. Future research will be combining Pasture Smarts measurements of pasture availability to animal tracking, supplementary feeding and enable individual animal management. If you're interested in finding out more about the Pasture Smarts project or other feed-based research projects and how you can implement them within your business, I encourage you to visit the dairyfeedbase.com.au website or get in touch with your regional development team at Dairy Australia.